the worst thing that happened after a teacher swore you were faking. Coach Vance ran the weight room like it was his personal army, and the one thing he hated more than weakness was the new cameras. The district had bolted them into every gym the year before, after some incident nobody would explain, and Vance told us on day one they were decoration, not even plugged in. Nobody's watching in here but me, he said, and he smiled when he said it. I'm Reese, and I was the kid who wrote things down. I kept a note on my phone of every rule he broke, not because I was planning anything, but because adults had stopped believing kids a long time ago, and I figured one day it might matter. Most teachers liked me. Vance didn't. During our first fitness test, I'd asked in front of everyone why we were maxing out deadlifts with no spotters and no warm-up. He made me do the lift alone while he timed me, then called me the lawyer for the rest of the semester. After that, he watched me like he was waiting for a reason. There was a sophomore the year before, a girl named Dahlia, who'd quit the school entirely after he made her run on a foot that turned out to be fractured. Everyone knew the story. Nobody could prove it. The reason came in November. We were doing box jumps onto stacked platforms, higher than the safety guide allowed, but Vance liked records, and records didn't care about the guide. On my third jump, the top box shifted under me. My right foot caught the edge and rolled completely under my weight, and I heard it. An actual crack, wet and wrong, that I felt in my teeth. I went down on the rubber floor, and my ankle was already turning the wrong shape, the foot pointing somewhere a foot isn't supposed to point. I told him it was broken. He didn't even crouch down. You're not broken, you're dramatic, he said. Walk it off or sit on the wall. I tried to stand, and my foot folded sideways like it wasn't attached anymore. A few kids gasped. He called it a sprain at worst, told two guys to drag me to the bleachers, and went back to running the clock like nothing had happened. For 40 minutes, I sat there while my ankle swelled over the top of my shoe and went the color of a bruise that was still deciding how bad it wanted to be. I asked twice to go to the nurse. Twice he said no. You can wait till the bell. Fakers always can. He said it loud for the class because the whole point was the audience. What he didn't know was that I'd already done the math on those cameras. The little red light in the corner had been on all semester, every single day, no matter what he told us. When the bell rang, I didn't go to the nurse. I went straight to the front office and asked the secretary, Ms. Okafor, to pull the gym footage before my mom called. She frowned, looked down at my foot, and stopped frowning. She called the assistant principal instead. By the time my mom got there, 3 adults had already watched Coach Vance stand over a kid with a shattered ankle and tell them to walk it off. The ER doctor said shattered was the right word. The fibula was broken in 2 places and the joint was dislocated. I needed surgery that night to put a plate and 7 screws in. I was still in the brace when the district called us in. Coach Vance walked into that meeting smiling because he thought it was my word against his, and his word had won every time before. Then they played the footage. There it was on the screen. Me on the floor, my foot at an angle that made the superintendent physically look away, and Vance standing over me with his arms crossed, telling me to stop faking, but the camera kept rolling past my part. It caught the next class too, a freshman named Thomas, limping off the climbing rope after Vance made him finish or take the 0. And it caught Vance 3 weeks earlier, reaching up and twisting the lens toward the wall before a different test, then turning it back when he was done. That last part was what finished him. The cameras weren't decoration. They were court-ordered from the incident nobody would explain, and turning one away wasn't attitude. It was tampering with safety equipment the district was legally required to keep running. Coach Vance didn't get to resign. He was walked out that same afternoon, and the footage went straight to the same lawyers who'd ordered the cameras installed in the first place. The superintendent looked at him across the table and said the only thing anybody in that room needed to hear. You told them nobody was watching. Someone always was.